People who get weird when you put recyclable items into their recycling bins.
So many lines and crowds. Holiday mania is in full swing. Guys, why don't you just chill and drink more spiked eggnog?
I forgot to lock my car the other day, and someone stole makeup out of the passenger seat within like 5 minutes.
End of the year clearance, Sarah. Buy, buy, buy. Can't I just sleep instead?
Yes. Have such a good day. Oh, hello, world, and welcome to another fun-filled edition of Have Such a Good Day, the show that wants you to have such a good day.
That's pretty much our point.
Yeah. Well, we've actually been talking recently, Heather and I, about marketing the show and kind of getting the word out there, and
talking to PR people,
and what does it all mean, and what are we doing here? And it always comes back to the fact that we're hoping to brighten your day with some funny anecdotes from our lives. And kind of remind everyone we're all in together.
Exactly. Just we try to talk about relatable things so that you feel less alone. Maybe you feel like you're part of a community. That's what we're trying to do.
You're part of our community. That's for damn sure. Whether you want to be or not, welcome. It's very dysfunctional.
And, it's going to be interesting to see what happens when the sun goes down here for all you video watchers. We're sans lights.
We are on Heather's porch. My dog ate my lights last week. I have neglected to get replacement power cords. So we're going to do an evening vibe.
We are winging it.
And for anybody who's listening to the audio version, and I know the majority of you are, because we're a podcast after all, we do offer a video version. So if that's something you're interested in, you can go to havesuchagoodday.com. We've got links to where you can find all our stuff. We post videos on our Patreon page, which is patreon.com/havesuchagoodday. And we're on YouTube as well, but Patreon is kind of the mothership of all this.
Yeah, and after a certain period of time, we make the videos on YouTube public. So, but we're trying to do the ones that are further, down in the past, so that patrons can actually benefit from early releases.
As a patron, we want you to be the first to have all the good stuff.
Yeah, man.
Even if it's us in the dark on Heather's porch.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to get interesting. We're going to start doing, I think we might do a little shadow puppet,
well, we might need a little bit more sun to do that.
Or maybe, I don't know, like a Sundance. We're going to do something. It's going to get wild.
It'll be like that
start
scene
DJing
in Silence of the Lambs where he's wearing, because he can see her because it's in the dark.
Totally.
And she's like,
no,
that's what the show's going to be.
It's going to turn into a horror movie. That's what's going to happen.
I've got the glasses. Heather doesn't. It's going to be great.
I'm so scared.
She's just like freaking out, panting. Well, geez, on that note.
Bonus topic.
Right.
I'm going to pitch it out so that people know what we're going to be talking about at the end of the show. So we are talking about this once this episode is complete. We roll for another 5 or 10 minutes and we talk about something that's, a little bit deeper, a little bit more personal, a little bit more.
It's more show for the folks who are generous enough to contribute $5 or more per month on Patreon. Measly $5 a month, man.
It's pretty good bang for your buck.
I paid $5, including a tip, for my Americano this morning.
Oh, man. I think it's $4.50 now for a flat white at Woodcat, and then you add $1, that's $5.50. We're talking it's going over $5 now.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
so that's our one of our coffee shops. So
if
you ever end up there, say hello.
It's called the Woodcat.
Either Heather or I or both of us will be there, and Otis will be tied up out front.
And there's no cats. Just I don't want you to feel misled by the title.
No, there aren't any cats that we know of, but there is a cat who hangs out at a bar nearby.
This is true. There's 2 of them, isn't there? There's the one at the bar. I was somewhere recently where there was another cat.
Oh, I know.
Where was I?
We've only seen the one.
There was another cat
who belongs to the Thai restaurant next door.
Yes.
And he did that funny little dance
totally
with you.
Did. That was so funny. Such a cutie.
Listen, we're just attracting cute animals left and right.
Oh man. I like this bonus topic. I'm kind of excited about this one.
Right.
I kind of wanted to get some themed ones for like end of the year, because I think this year has been like a doozy for a lot of you, and pretty much for the world. So, I think a lot of us are excited for a new year and a fresh start. So, I would like to ask Sarah this and you. What do you dream to accomplish in 2019? And this can be lofty goals. Like this can be like,
so it's not necessarily just a New Year's resolution. It's more of something that you want to perhaps achieve
it could be
over the next 365 days-ish.
I was thinking let's do the New Year's resolution question, but I didn't want to be generic. So I thought maybe let's turn it into some accomplishments. You can talk
about a little
about
semantic trick, hey?
Yeah, very much so. But it can be like lofty goals. It can be smaller goals. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I want to like totally transform the world and save people from hunger and
But it could be that.
It could be. It totally could
Whatever
be.
it is. Okay, well, I'll spend the rest of the show thinking about what my answer is. So for all you bonus topic folks, that'll be at the end of our regular show. But for everybody else, well, why don't we go around the horn and talk about how our weeks were? Okay, so it's funny. We have light notes as far as what we're going to talk about before the show. Heather and I do, and all I wrote is doctor visits are boof.
I like the boof.
Boof meaning
sounds like a French word.
Bullshit. It just means stupid, dumb, hate it, boof. So, and anybody who has health insurance, or even if you don't, whatever, you can, I'm sure, understand where I'm coming from. I had a whole health insurance issue earlier this year where I had health insurance and I was paying for it, but for some reason it had actually been canceled and I moved apartments. And so if there was ever any indication from Kaiser Permanente that happened, I wasn't getting, I didn't know. So I was without health insurance, but I was paying.
But you were paying for it.
I was paying. Oh, it was coming out of my account because it was like an auto pay thing. And it's not insignificant to do that for 6 months.
No.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, got the whole thing figured out. Now I have health insurance again, and it's legit. And I'm
glad you figured it out.
Yeah, well, me too. Except that I needed to go to the doctor, not for anything more than just needing to go to the doctor. You just check up stuff, but it's time.
Mm-hmm.
And I had my new health insurance, and the agent that was helping me was like, you might get your policy number before you get your cards. So at least you can go in with a policy number so they can look you up.
That's great.
If your card isn't there, because then it'll just be this whole reimbursement nightmare. And so I went I made a doctor's appointment with someone in my network. It was all clear as day on the website. And I walk in and they were like, we've never heard of you. You don't have an appointment.
Of course.
Which I made on ZocDoc. Not sure that you're familiar with it.
I've heard of it.
So ZocDoc I don't know if you'd call it a startup. It's a medical service that lets you make medical appointments online based on availability that the doctor's office has shared with ZocDoc.
Okay.
Negating the need to call a doctor's office and wait
so
on
great.
hold and all of that stuff.
And everyone participates?
Well, in theory, it's so great. So I made my appointment because the doctor's office, again, I've never been to this doctor's office because it's a whole new network. I'm in a new neighborhood, the whole nine. So I make an appointment and immediately, I get an email confirmation, and it's kind of nice. It's like goes into your Google Calendar real quick.
Yeah.
And then I got another email notification of, the doctor's office has changed it to this day at this time, which is not available to me.
That's never happened before.
So it's like, okay, well, why did it say it was
like I can't go at that time?
So then I it was like a game of chicken. So I kind of like went in and like picked another time, and then the same thing happened, and they kept just like redirecting me to the same day at the same time, which was just a couple weeks later, after I could legally go to the doctor with health insurance. And anyway, I finally just gave in and was like, okay, well, that's the day I'll go, which was Monday of this week. And I went in and I didn't have an appointment. They'd never heard of me. And I was like, hold it, because at that point I was mad already.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
So I'm like, do you know that you you reset my appointment to this specific
and
day.
and it wasn't convenient for you, but like you made it work.
Yeah, you guys did this through ZocDoc like several times.
Wow.
And of course the
I would've
person
been
behind
really
the
pissed.
counter, she wasn't rude or anything, but she was sort of like, yeah, I mean, ZocDoc is just, we don't even really use it. You just should call. I'm like,
Oh, boy.
I'm going to murder you. And
That's
everyone
crazy.
around." So yeah, so
That must be happening right and left then. It wouldn't just be happening to you.
it's a doctor's office that is not keeping up their actual schedule
Yeah.
to share with this service that's supposed to make all our lives easier. So I was kind of like, all right, well, here I am. It wasn't exactly next door to where I live.
Yeah.
You know, I've parked. I've done the whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm standing here. And
Did you get to go in?
well, it turns out that because they didn't have an appointment for me, the doctor wasn't even in that day. It was just some physician's
must have been
assistant
very
that
upset.
which, and listen, most of the time a physician's assistant is fine
Yeah.
for like little checkup stuff,
Yeah.
but not for your first.
No.
You know, like this is my
I
new
agree.
doctor
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I left in a huff.
I bet. What about, did you also leave in a boof?
Well,
Or a booth?
The doctor's office was boof. I left in a huff. And that's all I have to say about that. It wasn't like, I mean, it was one of those things where I wasn't really that mad because everyone knows that health insurance and all this stuff,
Is bullshit.
PCPs and getting referrals and the whole thing, it's a nightmare. And so I just kind of like sagged my shoulders and was like, all right, bye. And I didn't really like the vibe anyway of this doctor's office because they don't have their shit together, so I won't be back.
No, exactly. You know, it's really funny. I feel like I'm going to change my week anecdote because I went to a new dentist this week, and it was kind of an interesting experience. And so I got this flyer in the mail, which, like, how often do flyers in the mail like help you in life? You know what I mean? Like, you get so much spam mail, and I constantly, like, if I take it out of the mailbox, I most likely put it right into the recycle bin.
Yeah, the book of coupons
It's
is
kind
not
of
something I'm
annoying.
browsing through.
No, and I have started to, and actually there's some stuff in there that's pretty great, which I stumbled upon a $59 dental like cleaning and exam and everything, which is pretty good because I think normally like a full exam is like $150. This place was bizarre though. It was a grand opening, so I'm there on the first day, and I kind of made a joke to them. I said, well, I hope you guys have like, you know what you're doing, and you guys, they were like, and
you've done some run throughs.
Yeah, I guess they did a friends and family thing the day before, but it was really modern. It was like the most modern dentist, brand new. Everything was brand new, and there was a lot of people involved. So like, you know, you got to get they have this new thing. Dentistry is fascinating to me. They have like so much new technology. You know, they've got like this little like pen that's basically a camera that takes pictures of your mouth now.
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
See, I guess this is my first time, but I also had to get x-rays. There's like so many steps, and there's a different person in every room, and they're so nice, and they're like, do you need anything? Oh, your jeans. I love the color of your jeans. They're wonderful. Oh, those boots are so cute. I'm not even kidding you. It was just like, okay, enough. Like, you guys are...
Well, I think a lot
They want good reviews.
Well, and I think especially dental hygienists, because you usually are going to see that person first. They know that a lot of people have anxiety about going to the dentist.
Which I do.
And I don't. Like, I'm like, I don't know, do whatever you got to do. I don't really have like a lot of dental issues. I'm just like, whatever. But I do notice that they fawn a little bit too much, where I'm like,
I was so fawned
I almost
upon.
want to say, I'm cool.
I know.
We're good.
Yeah.
Let's just get this over with.
Yeah, I feel like there was so much small talk, and it was just it was a little much. I felt like they were just like kissing my ass like so much, to the point where
it's also the
I was
grand
exhausted
opening.
when I left in a way, because
Yeah.
it was a long, and they were like, oh, we want to make sure we get you out of here, because it was like a 90-minute thing that I wasn't aware it was going to be that long.
Yeah.
Anyway, long story short, it was a great deal. It was $59. But what I wanted to mention is I did see that movie, The Favorite.
Yeah.
And
The Favorite spelled
kind of the British style.
in the old way,
Yeah.
from across the pond.
Exactly. And it's funny. So what I really wanted to talk about was, do you ever feel like certain times of your life, maybe it's like a week, some random week that you're feeling good or whatever, and you feel like everything is sort of like laid out for you, for your like amusement? You know, like,
Yeah.
so for example, bear with me. I'm going to try to make this really brief. So I've been tutoring French with this one girl in particular who I think she's fantastic and we have a fun time. She, the exercises are pretty interesting. They're all very different every time, and they're pretty hard. Like, they talk about philosophy and psychology and art and music, and so you have to understand like the language like on a lot of different levels.
Right. This isn't just like verb conjugation.
No, it's not at all. Yeah. And there was this one that was about like psychology. It was about like how to deal with your successes and your failures, but in French. And it was funny because it reminded me of some stuff we've been talking on the show about lately, about like our careers and everything. And it was weird sitting there with her. I was like, I feel like I'm meant to do this like in French too. Like, not only am I like learning these things in English, but like the French class that I'm doing with my, senior in high school, it's like I'm learning about the same thing in French. It's like universal knowledge.
Sure.
Which it was impactful because it was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is like universal knowledge. This is stuff that everyone's got to be confident. You have to be confident in yourself. You have to do X, Y, and Z to make it in life and whatever. And then when I went and saw The Favorite last night, it was one of those movies that I was like, this would be a movie that I wish that I would have made myself. If only. It is so great.
Oh,
the humor is so interesting. It's kind of like, they call it, there was one reviewer that called it whiplash humor, which I thought was so cool. You'll have to see it to understand, but it has the director, Yorgos Lanthimos, he did he's only done about 4 films. He's kind of a trippy director, very unique vision. Anyway, I laughed wholeheartedly all night. It was a very, very funny movie. I highly recommend it.
The Favorite.
The Favorite. Ourite.
I will.
It is my favorite.
I will put it on my list.
OR of 2018.
I saw Roma, which I think you mentioned a couple of weeks ago.
Did you like it?
That you had seen it. I thought it was a very good movie.
Mm-hmm.
I found it very sad and upsetting.
Yeah. It was a little harrowing in its subtle way.
It's the sort of movie that I wouldn't just recommend to anyone, even though I think it's really, really good.
Yeah.
I don't. If my mom, if you said, should I watch Roma? I'd be like, I don't know.
I feel the same way. My dad asked me about it today, and I was like,
I mean, I think you would appreciate it artistically.
Sure. It's interesting, like because it reminded me a lot of his other movies. There's always these themes with these directors, you know, and same with Lorgos, like because I've been doing a lot of research on his movies, and he's got these common themes, and same with Alfonso Cuarón. I feel like there's a little bit of an apocalyptic sort of like life is very volatile and sort of stressful, and there's a lot of things that happen in life that can be really hard to deal with, like reality, and I think that's part of it. And I feel like it was all the way through, the ocean, the way the ocean is so, it's dangerous in a lot of ways, a lot of things about the earth are, dangerous for humans. Dangerous for life.
Not to give anything away.
No, not to give anything away.
But I enjoyed it.
It's very cinematic.
But and I watched it at home, and I had a couple friends saying like, "Well, you've really done yourself a disservice by not watching it in the theater with like the right." And I'm sure that's true. I have a pretty decent setup at home, but I cried so hard. I'm like, I'm glad I was home.
Yeah.
Like I need to like clutch my teddy bear right now and like be alone and eat like wheat thins really quickly. Okay, so on a brighter note, and Heather, just open up this link because you're gonna love it.
Oh, I'm so excited.
So the Monterey Bay Aquarium, for anybody who is not familiar with Monterey, California. Monterey, California is a decent sized city. It's not a big city, and it's not a small town. That's south of Santa Cruz. See how there's looking at it now for the first time. I knew you'd love it.
It's so good.
But its main claim to fame is its aquarium. It's a world-class aquarium, one of the most beautiful in the world. It's large. It's been redone a bunch over time. the whole town sort of revolves around the Monterey Bay Aquarium. I've been a million times as a kid, as an adult, everything in between. I've taken other people's kids. Everybody loves the aquarium. Anyway, they have an official Instagram account because, of course, why wouldn't you? Well, turns out that there's an otter, and her name is Abby, at the Monterey Bay Aquarium, and she is what we would call pleasantly plump. And when I say that, I mean she's a big, obese otter.
Oh my gosh, and she's so cute.
And somebody at the Monterey Bay Aquarium is having fun on social media because there's a picture of her just kind of sitting there just being real big.
She's like a tiny head because her body's so big.
Yeah, I mean, she's probably 75 pounds, if not more. And there's a photo of her. They posted it yesterday. Oh, it has 25,000 likes. So the Monterey Bay Aquarium is a well-traveled IG account. But the caption is, Abby is a thick girl.
With two C's, but not thick. A K.
Right. What an absolute unit. She chunk. Look at the size of this lady. How loud she coming.
Who wrote this?
Somebody who's running their Instagram account, and then it's like hashtag Monterey Bay Aquarium, hashtag body positivity, hashtag love this curvy gal, hashtag nom nom style.
Oh Lord, she's coming. I mean, the thick with two C's is brilliant.
Yeah.
Have you heard that before?
Yes, I have.
What an absolute unit.
She chunk.
She chunk.
Out loud. It's Abby.
You guys have to look at this. This is great.
It's so good.
God, you really made my day, Sarah.
Monterey Bay Aquarium. Follow it. How
do you find these things?
I don't know.
Just on Twitter, or it was on Instagram?
Yeah, but I wasn't following the account before. It was like something. I don't know. I just.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
I go down rabbit holes. This is why you can't find me for 6 hours at a time. I'm like looking at like otter photos from the Monterey Bay Aquarium Instagram account.
Oh
anyway,
man, you really made my day.
So that's Abby, and I hope you all, get to know Abby. And also
get to know all of her.
If you're right, and there's a lot.
Head to toe.
There's so much to live.
So thick.
But if you're ever in the Monterey area of Central California, and you might be, then it's a pretty cool aquarium.
Let's go meet her.
I've always enjoyed. I would love.
Let's go do a little pilgrimage up there. I know it is a cool aquarium. I've been there. It's good. Well, I'm heading up there. In fact, I mean, if I have time, I could stop there because I am driving up like pretty much through there.
You could see Abby.
I would love to see Abby.
The only thing wrong with the aquarium, and I'm going to sound like an old childless woman, is that there's so many kids there.
I know. It is.
And kids are great, and that's what aquariums are for. But you have to want.
You have to maneuver.
That's
I agree.
That's gonna be part of the deal. But like when you watch all like the sardines, like
I love
swimming
that.
In circles, and
they're all like silvery and like so cool.
The Shark Tank,
totally.
and I love it. Love a good aquarium.
Oh man, I love a good animal story.
Well, that's Abby.
So I'm going to circle back to my dentist appointment and just mention, so, you know, when I was sitting with the hygienist, I have just bought a brand new electric toothbrush that I'm really proud about. And I did a lot of research, Sarah.
Okay.
I had this Oral-B one that I thought was kind of janky. And after all my research, I realized that what is it called? The other one that I got was not the Oral-B, but the I
don't know.
God.
The other kind.
So anyway, I will tell you in 1 second here, but I was so disappointed after all the research, all the darn research that I did, and I was so excited about my purchase with this new wonderful toothbrush that I think is doing wonders for my teeth. The hygienist said that she prefers Oral-B, and here's why. It was the Sonicare.
Sonicare.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I realized, I'm like, man, I get really disappointed because I want the best of everything. And it kind of makes me crazy. And I don't know if that is something that makes you crazy. I'm going to say that it might not be for you as much as it is for me. And it's not an insult or anything, but I noticed that, like, I think it's something to like organize my mind. Like I want a very small amount of things, but I want everything to work really well, and I want it to look good. And so I think that I try really hard to find the best of everything, but it kind of makes you crazy. And I stumbled upon this article on Vox, actually. This psychologist wrote this book called The Paradox of Choice and Why More is Less. And I thought it was really interesting. And there's just too many choices these days. You know, you go to the toothpaste aisle, and I mean, I get actually kind of overwhelmed. There's too many options for every brand. There's
I always call it being crippled by choice.
Yeah. Oh, I have a real problem with it. And sometimes I'll spend over an hour in a CVS because every single section I go in, there's too many things, and I can't make a decision. But I thought it was interesting. So he kind of broke it down. Have you heard of the term satisficers?
No.
So it's people who are content with a good enough thing. So it's like, okay, I got this pair of jeans. Looks good on me.
Satisfactory.
I mean, they're like, you know, whatever. Back in the day, you know, you had two choices. You had Lee and Levi's, and like it didn't really matter. But this day and age, you have too many options. Maximizers are people who kind of can't call off the search, and they're like, they know that they're going to be able to like find a better one. I kind of think I'm a bit of more of a maximizer. And he had some theories. There's no real like, you know, hard and fast answer to this, but when there's so many options for something, it becomes like a statement of who you are. So like what you choose becomes you tell the world, this is who I am. So
it's
I'm going to
choose a little bit about your personality.
Yeah, it is. And you curate your life, and you it says something about who you are, like what you choose. Or I like this sort of theory was cool. It was like, maybe it's a way of avoiding regret because you tried your best. You tried your best to get the best, and that is satisfactory to you. Anyway, I thought it was sort of an interesting thing because I struggle with this a lot, where I want everything to be so streamlined and simple as possible. But I think there's going to be a lot more like studies on this because obviously, you know, things are getting more and more complex in our world. But I was curious how you felt about this.
Well, it's funny, and I'll get into this in our next topic a little bit. It's going to dovetail.
Wow, we're in sync.
It's going to dovetail nicely. We got
no idea.
Sync. We're thick.
We are so thick.
We're thick. We're chunk. But yeah, I am very easily crippled by choice. To the point that I avoid things because I cannot stand the loop of choice that I get into. One might say, if one was a zodiac person, that as a Libra, I'm constantly trying to find balance.
Yeah.
Right? That's not what I'm really saying, but you know, I've heard that about myself in the past. So I usually, you know, you say the toothpaste aisle, it's like I only get one kind of toothpaste. I've gotten the same kind of toothpaste for 20 years. I find no reason to change.
What is it?
It's
Crest?
Tom's
Okay.
Winter Mint.
All right.
Sometimes cinnamon. You don't see the cinnamon all that often, but when I see it, I'll get it because it's kind of weird. The mango is to be avoided, but I just I know it's like that's disgusting. But I don't I can't deal with what you're talking about because I actually really like CVS.
I know, I do too.
And all drugstores. They actually allow my dog in Walgreens now, so we're just like chilling in there, having fun, and like talking to the staff. Kinda, yeah.
Too many Q-tip
being like,
options.
where are your cotton balls? Never can find them.
I can't either. Can't find the Q-tips.
Always have to ask them.
And they're in a weird spot. Doesn't totally make sense.
They're always at like the end aisle thing. I don't know, man. Whatever.
Whatevs.
But love a good drugstore. Everything I need is in there pretty much.
I'm going there tomorrow morning to get Christmas cards.
Yeah,
I'll see you in there.
Going in to get mascara. So yeah, we'll high five.
Yeah, we will.
down at the Walgreens. But I do find, particularly it's not so much getting the best of the best, but I'll get just like deep into the weeds of ingredients of like soup at Whole Foods. And I'll be, you know, just sort of meandering around the aisles where I'm like, come on, Sarah.
Yeah,
you know,
me
like
too.
eyes on the prize.
Totally.
But it's just like, I just need to be like, this is what I get, and this is what I'm getting. And so I become a creature of habit because I don't have time.
Me too. I actually do too. And I make lists. Like I usually have to have a shopping list because I will literally meander and be like, I don't even know why I'm here. Like, why did I come here? Tortillas, eggs. I literally,
like
I will
look
wander
at your cart
around.
And you're like, none of this was on my list.
No,
even.
that's what happens to me all the time. It makes me crazy. And you know, it's an issue in the modern world that we're having here.
Definitely so.
So do you think that you're a maximizer, or do you think you are
I'm not a
satisficer?
I'm not a person who hunts for a good deal.
Yeah.
If I find one, I'm happy to do it.
I'm the same way.
But I don't even think it's laziness. I think it's just being busy and just not enjoying the thrill of the hunt kind of thing. I just don't. I would rather just.
I'm the same way.
Again. Well, anyway, so this actually goes into our next topic. But before we go to our next topic, we just want to remind folks that we are available for advice.
We are.
Ask Heather and Sarah.
I'm so glad you're reminding us of this.
Yes, I mean we call it Dear Heather and Sarah because it's like Dear Abby.
Ask Heather and Sarah
to bring
is cute
to
too.
bring it back to a fat otter. Is a little something we're trying. We're opening up our wealth of knowledge, and certainly not necessarily expertise, but certainly a lot of experience.
Yeah.
And are what we think are, we give good advice.
Sort of think of it as like you're hanging out with your buddies, your girlfriends, your guy friends, and you're kind of talking about maybe a problem with someone you're dating, and it's sort of like you want to get like a friend's advice. It's sort of like that.
Or
it's
anything.
Like friend-to-friend advice.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be about dating.
Right. So just wanted to remind folks that we are available for that. We're kind of trying it out. This is a new thing we've done the last couple of weeks for our patrons of $5 or more at the end of the show. And if you want to know more about all of our perks and our milestones, all the cool things that we offer, how to get onto our Discord, there's a wealth of knowledge at patreon.com/havesuchagoodday.
And for you video folks, we're about to tell you a ghost story because we are in the dark. So
By the way, Heather, why don't you bring up your brightness?
I did actually.
Oh, really? Because why am I like
you're
super
so
bright?
bright.
My brightness is up.
I'm up all the way now.
100%. Oh, okay.
100%. Let me direct it a little more toward me.
There you go.
I
know.
like.
Woo! Ghost story time. Yes, we're definitely in the dark, but that's
It's the way it goes. Low budget production.
It's how we do. So I mentioned that talking about good things and quality things leads into our next story really well, and it does because. So I mentioned that I'm somebody who is a creature of habit because I don't want to be crippled by choice, and I just can't be derailed, and I'm busy. And one of those things is overpaying for clothing. I'll overpay for clothing.
Totally.
Because it's like, does it look good? Is it like a pretty cool brand? Does it fit? I'll buy it. Is it $100 million? I'll figure it out. I'll buy it. And I've been doing this for a long time, and I like what I like, but I have also sort of stopped enjoying shopping.
Yeah.
Because it's a little mundane, because I have my staples. I have my stores that I really like.
You have your brands that you're like.
I have 4 brands that I buy
Totally.
from exclusively.
Yeah.
Besides underwear or socks or whatever.
Yeah.
And I like them all, but it's like, whatever. And I don't want to go to the mall, and I'm just, And they're also, because my taste should be cheaper, but it isn't. These are like staple items that you'd buy once a year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like these aren't jeans I can just buy once when I feel like it. It's like, no, they're like an investment.
Yeah.
They're like a nice purchase. They're
Absolutely.
like a birthday present to myself. Anyway.
Exactly. What you deserve.
Thank you. I'm working with somebody on a new podcast, and I'll talk about that at a later date. But part of the podcast is figuring out how to save money on exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, do you like those beautiful jeans that look really good on you? They're stylish, the whole thing. Like, how do you just pay like a
$50
third of what you would pay normally in a retail store? And I'm kind of like, I don't know. That sounds like magic.
Or like you have to go to a thrift store or like Ross or something. You have to sift through stuff.
You gotta sift, and it's a mess.
It takes time.
And it takes time, and oh god, the whole thing. Until I found Poshmark.
Yeah.
Now, and I am so
glad you
late
jumped on the bandwagon, Sarah.
Thank you. I know any, not any woman, but I'm sure some, and males too. It's not just female oriented, but mostly, who is familiar with Poshmark, eye roll all day at me because I know I'm a little late to the game because I just don't I don't do a lot of online shopping weirdly, even though I spend a lot of time on the internet otherwise because I like frequenting actual physical stores. Anyway, Poshmark is amazing.
It really is.
There's a certain kind of brand of jeans that I've loved for years because they just fit me really well. And I'm a tiny person, and so jeans just don't fit me really well. You know, you got to get them hemmed or And on Poshmark, it's like they're like even cooler ones that would be at the retail store for.
There's some good stuff on there. There's good brands.
Yeah, and it's just super discounted. Sometimes they've been worn. Sometimes they still have tags on.
Yeah.
There's you kind of gotta hang out in there for a while.
True.
But I ended up. I really wanted to wear them tonight. They didn't come yet. Not by the time I left my house. But I bought a pair of red jeans that I've had these exact jeans.
It's funny.
Before
I
in the
almost
past.
wore my red jeans tonight.
Really?
But no one would have been able to see them.
That's true. Yeah, because we're sitting in the dark.
I am wearing a green jacket though. I was trying to be a little festive.
It's very cute.
Yeah.
It's
it's
kind
little
of
crop
yeah,
puffy.
Yeah, kind of. I don't know what is that Chanel type?
Yeah, it's like sort of has a stitching that creates like these little shapes, and
it's
I
very,
love it. It's warm.
Cute. I like
it's cold out here.
Like a good army green. It's weird.
Cold and dark.
I'm not really cold at all. Oh, what's wrong with
It's not
me?
too cold. It's not too bad.
Anyway, Poshmark.com. If you're looking for, it doesn't necessarily have to be designer stuff. Because some people just don't care about that, and I only care about it to.
They have all kinds of brands.
But yeah, it's discounts.
You know,
and so I'm really looking forward to seeing, because I haven't gotten the pants yet, and this is my first purchase. So and they're in my size and the whole thing, and it's exactly what I would go in and buy from the store. It was just so much cheaper by hundreds of dollars.
I'm going to actually show you the red pants that I have that might be the same. It's funny, they often spend most of the year in the bottom of my laundry basket because those red jeans bleed like bad. It'll bleed onto anything white, like even like a little piece of white. So I never wash them because I never have enough like dark clothes, I guess, to put in together.
What are you talking about?
Anyway, I'll show them to you. By the way, I'm Hedaville on Poshmark if you want to add me.
Oh, good.
I got stuff for sale.
Oh, nice.
I'm way ahead of you, man.
I'll buy your shit.
Yeah, man. I've got some boots, and I've sold a few things on Poshmark. I like it a lot. The only thing is, you should try to sell some stuff, but then you got to be responsible of like putting it in a box and going to the post office and doing all that. But it's all calculated into the final costs and everything, which is convenient.
At this point, I'm gonna see how it goes.
Yeah.
If the pants fit the way that I think they're supposed to fit, I'm gonna be real happy. But I'm also skeptical because I like things the way I like them.
It's funny.
So we'll see. By this time next week, I will know, and I will wear the pants. Unless they're like
both wear some red pants.
Unless they're boof, and then I'm gonna send our asses right back.
I don't want to upset you, but I think I've only bought two things on Poshmark. I've mostly sold stuff. Mm-hmm. One of them was slightly too small, and the other one was slightly too big. But I still wear them. I'll show them to you after the show. But I think you should be fine if you know your brand and you know your size. You should be good.
Yeah. Well, for anybody who is. Well, I don't know. You could be any size. If you care about jeans and you care about the way that they fit specifically, you know that, for example, I'm a 24, maybe a 25.
Yeah.
And
me too. Or I'm like a 25, maybe a 26.
Okay. So
slightly bigger.
But even then, it's like
thick, a little more thick than you.
You're a little thick. but even 3 24s in a row that are all the same thing, that are part of the stack. You go into the dressing room and they're not quite the same.
Yeah.
They're never quite the same.
It depends on the jean.
So you kind of got to get lucky. So I'm rolling a crapshoot here.
I think you're going to get lucky. I'm feeling pretty good about this. I'm feeling
pretty good about it too. It's I'm in the Christmas spirit. I bought some red pants.
Yeah, and
we're going to push through.
And we're almost at 2019, which is like I think there's some good luck around the corner. It's the year of the pig. But I thought maybe we would talk about that a little bit more next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yep. So I am here to tell you to be different.
Okay.
And I thought it would be a nice time I have some examples from my world of cool ways to celebrate the holidays that aren't like the traditional ways. You know, I feel like a lot of people get stressed around the holidays, and I've heard a lot of stories about, you know, all the expectations from family and, you know, all these, you know, things that people are expected to do every year. See people, get presents. You know, I know someone in particular who I will call my sister. She is running around like a crazy person trying to get presents. And we're doing our Christmas on the 22nd, so that's like a couple days from now. Yeah. And my sister's a very hardworking high school teacher. I mean, she has very full days. She's still kind of in finals. You know, she's got a few more classes tomorrow, so she doesn't have a lot of free time before the holidays to get presents. You know, it's funny. My mom is very into Christmas. Very into Christmas, not in like the Christian way or in the religious way, but she decorates the house. She loves the lights. She loves the colors. She loves to kind of she's an artist, so she gets really into it artistically. But me and my sister have a hard time with it because we feel that the consumerism of the holidays can really take away from, you know, the other aspects and the spirit. Mm-hmm. And, you know, my mom loves presents. I mean, you know, I don't know if you guys have read this book, but there's a book about different ways that people love. And there's about 4 different ways that people love. One of the ways is somebody gives, the way that they express love is by giving gifts and receiving gifts. You know, they feel this sort of sense of love. Sure. I'm not like that. It's hard for me to relate to that. But I know my mom is like that. And she's so sweet. And she really wants to have a fruitful, presentful Christmas. So, you know, we're going to do this. I'm going to do this year. I'm going to go up there and do a family thing. We're going to do the presents because I want to make my mom happy. But, you know, it's really hard to change people. I have a couple friends who are doing something really alternative, and I thought it was pretty cool. I have a friend who's going on a road trip with his dog, which I am envious of. I think that sounds really great. My dad and his partner, they always, every year, make it a day to do whatever they want together. You know, walk on the beach, sit by the fire, no stress or expectations, cook a meal at home, doesn't have to be like the traditional meal. Anyway, I thought that was kind of inspiring, even though I'm not doing any of those things this year, even though that's something that I always want to do every year. And I know we talk about this all the time. We tend to want to do what my dad does. Do what you want to do with the people that you love. You know, so whatever you're doing this year, I hope you're safe and happy and you know, I just want everybody to enjoy themselves.
Well, Heather, isn't that nice? What a nice sentiment. You know, it's funny you mentioned your friend who's going on a road trip with his dog. Uh-huh. I may do the same. It won't be on Christmas Day, like for Christmas itself. I'm going to stay put and hang out with some family that lives here locally.
Feed my cats.
And that too, yeah. But I may do a little road trip, and I have done a road trip with my dog Otis before. But I had a friend with me. So it was the 3 of us. So it was like, talking to somebody in the front seat. And it was a significant trip. Mm-hmm. This would be about the same amount of time, but it would be just me and Odie. Mm-hmm. And we can do it.
Sure.
I think, you know, he's just going to sleep the whole time anyway. But I'm like,
just blast your music and
load up the podcast.
Honestly, I was so excited today because I had like a day where I had to drive in a cool area that I like of Los Angeles. It's like in the hills. It's just beautiful. And I was playing the Smiths, and I was raging in my car, and I just like had I didn't even care there was traffic. I really did not care. I was, you know, in the car for a couple hours today, and I just really enjoyed it. So yeah, just load up our podcast and some
go
music
nuts.
and just have some karaoke.
Real quick before we sign off for this episode, we would love an iTunes review from you. They actually help a lot.
They really do.
They help to surface the show for folks who haven't seen it before, or seen the album art rather, or heard it before. Also, if you know somebody who might enjoy the show, we'd love you to spread the word, tell a friend. Our website is havesuchagoodday.com. We mentioned that we would love to get kind of advice, questions, or feedback. Feedback in any form, very much appreciated. You can write us at hi@havesuchagoodday.com. And again, our patrons are the folks who make the show possible. In fact, that's where the bonus topic is. That's coming up next. for our $5 and up patrons, but all of our patrons, anyone who can contribute to the show and keep us going, we really appreciate it. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Well, wherever you are
and whenever you are,
we hope you have such a good day.
We really do.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Heather.
See you next time.
Bye.